we're going to go over a bunch of stuff. Since this is our first meeting of the school year, we'll go over kind of a brief introduction of the board, look at some of our goals for the year, and get into information about updates and things that we need from them. So let's dive right in. I'm Stephen Monk. I am the president of the Boosters. We have a few others on the meeting as well. Our CFO is Nicole. Our secretary is Ling. And then we have a couple directors, Jessica and Mark, that are on there. We do have a bunch of openings, as you can see on the screen. We do need more help and more people to help do that. So if you look at our website, there is a board nomination form you can fill out if you're interested in working with us and helping us at the Master Boosters. We are looking for all kinds of positions, from helping with the website and some tech to fundraising to treasurer, and we'd love to have a couple more directors as well. So please, if you're interested or know others that may be interested, forward along the information and make sure to let us know about it. So for some of you who have joined us last year, have been a part of the Boosters for a while, you'll kind of know. I introduced this at the beginning of our term last year in May when we took over, but my goals really are to modernize, simplify, and improve. So we want to take the tools that we have available, try to utilize as much technology and simplify what we're doing with that, make it easier for everybody to do their work, and improve on what we're able to do as a Boosters. More money raised, more things done for the kids. I think you'll see some of our accomplishments from the last year. We've got the aquatics scoreboard as a great example. Those are things that happen because the Boosters and the clubs work together to get it done. So what are we going to do for this year? Well, we are looking at a few goals. As you guys know, we went paperless with our check request system and our deposits. We're looking to come up with some kind of electronic stipend request so that we don't have to worry about going and getting signatures on site. We don't have to have paperwork going back and forth. And make it a little easier for all of us to get that done. There is an uphill battle with this. The district is not really wanting to work on doing any kind of e-file process. So we're looking at having to do things that are electronic on our side and then get converted essentially to paper once all the signatures are done. But hopefully before we get through the school year, hopefully we'll have that done and wrapped up. We are also working on live streaming and video production. If you guys didn't know, the school district partnered up with NFHS and got our Pixel-Lock cameras. These are automated camera systems that we have in the gym and in the stadium, and there's a lot of things that we could do with those, and we're hoping that we'll be able to, within the next couple months, we'll have that up and running enough that we can use it to maybe do some live streaming, sell some advertising, and get some production value out of them. They will be for parents. There's a subscription that they can get through NFHS to subscribe to watch the games if they're not able to go in person. We want to get completely onboarded to our website, grizzlypride.com. So that's one of our big goals that we'll be talking about today, and hopefully we'll get that done in the next couple months. And then lastly, because of kind of our situation, with this COVID and the way school is working for us all. We're looking to really help everybody have a better social engagement practice using social media, working through our new mobile app that we have that we really haven't launched or done anything with that is meant for fan engagement. Things like sharing out pictures and videos and what the teams are doing to try to keep that team spirit going, as well as get the parents and community involved with what we're doing there. So those are really our top goals. Obviously, there's other things that we'll look to accomplish as we move through stuff, but we really want to have some big things that we can accomplish as a group. So it's that time to update. We need to get your information for any changes with your boosters. We need to make sure that we've updated that in all of our systems. If you've had changes to presidents or treasurers especially, we need that information. So if you've had changes to your president or treasurer especially, please make sure to email us clubrequest@gbhboosters.org as soon as possible. Or if you'd like to, you can use the Q&A and chat with us and let us know that you've made that change, and we'll work on those. Moving forward, all of our communication to you guys is going to come from Sports Engine. And for those of you who aren't familiar, Sports Engine is what runs our Grizzly Pride .com website. So if you have yet to do so, or you didn't get one of my emails this last week, then that means that you aren't currently registered on the site as a volunteer. And this should be for all of your booster volunteers, should be registered, not just the presidents and treasurers. You can do that. The website has links to it, but if you're a coach, get your coaches to register at the grizzlypride.com/coaches. If you're a volunteer or a booster member or faculty, okay, so Tim and Jason and Levert and anybody else that's a faculty member, you can also register at the volunteers section. It's very simple. It takes just a couple minutes to get in there, especially if you already have a Sports Engine account. And all you're doing is specifying, here's the teams that I work with, or I'm a faculty member, or I'm a coach of this sport. And then that will help us to classify you and to be able to communicate out as we move forward. So please work to get this done. It's super important. We need to get everybody in this within the next couple weeks so that nobody's missing out on communication. This is a little preview of the site. If you haven't been there before, please visit. It's a little outdated because we haven't been a lot of info to put up there. So we do have some updates coming to the homepage shortly, and we'll kind of move on those things. But the site is beautiful. It's something that you can send out to people. It's something you can use for marketing purposes. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. So really, people are asking, well, what are the benefits of the site? Why would we want to utilize it? Really the idea is to give everybody, this is a boosters covered cost. We want to give everybody the ability to have the same access to tools that maybe teams that, could drive more revenue used to have. It gives you ability to communicate and track your teams and scores and pictures and all of that kind of different stuff in the platform. So, get familiar with it. We can offer some training. There are lots of videos on there that you can use to figure out how to utilize the platform or to, make edits or learn. Each booster club gets to maintain their own stuff. It's pretty simple to use. as master boosters, we get to help, utilize that information for communication. We get to better track finances from registration. So it simplifies your need to give us information from deposits and things that are done for registrations. It will allow us to centralize our calendars and branding for sure, something we've been working on heavily the last year. We do need help maintaining it. If you're one of the kind of tech savvy people and maybe you don't want to come on board as a VP of technology for the boosters, but you would be interested in helping to maintain the website, maybe update the homepage from time to time and add some news and stuff in there, please reach out. Let us know that you're interested in that. We'd love to talk with you to see if that would be a good fit. It doesn't need a lot of time. It's not something that'll be very heavy with work, but it is something that we don't want to get neglected. Again, if you have questions, please make sure you're using the Q&A throughout the event. We will be looking at those, trying to answer them, post them live if they're questions, or answer them privately if they're private questions. So how do you get onboarded? Well, first, all clubs will need to do it. This goes for sports as well as non-sport clubs. So if you are film and media or choir or things that don't really have teams or things, we could still utilize this web platform for your communication and a website for you, and we need all of that in here. So even if you have another website, ideally we want to collapse those into Grizzly Pride to simplify everybody's stuff, but we can at least get enough information in there and then perhaps link out to those sites if it's more appropriate for that. The exception of that, we know aquatics, for example, they have a very specific need for how their timing works for swim. And so they have a sister, Sports Engine has a sister application specifically for them. But we still want to have aquatics inside the Grizzly Pride site with information, dates, and things like that. And then we can funnel people out for additional things. So we are making it really easy for you. If you haven't onboarded, if you aren't already utilizing the Grizzly Pride website, I've made a link that you can schedule time with me, a 2-hour block to get onboarded. We'll walk through doing all the things. You can go to the gbhboosters.org website, and under the e-forms, the last link in the bottom is to schedule your onboarding. Again, this is not optional. Everybody has to onboard. If you've already started playing, if you're cross country or something of that nature, and you've already been practicing and you've taken registrations, you still need to onboard this year as soon as possible into the platform. So in preparation for your onboarding meeting, when you get that scheduled, please make sure that you have any of your registration forms, documents, anything that your coach has asked during like your parent nights, things that they would normally hand out, because essentially what we're doing is taking your parent night and moving it electronically into the platform. So parents will register there, they will pay there, they'll sign up all of their different athletes or students there, and we'll maintain that in that. So the more information that we have about your registration forms from previous years, or any kind of documents and agreements, maybe your coach likes to have a code of conduct or things of that nature, please make sure you have those ready for that meeting, because we do want to try to get through as much of it in that 2-hour window as we can. In addition, make sure that everybody who's involved with your club that might need access to the website or the registration forms and stuff, make sure that they pre-register onto the website before our meeting. We don't want to have to spend time during that meeting getting people signed up and figuring out how to log in for that. So we really want to make this as simple as possible. We know that it may feel overwhelming. It's actually a very simple system, very simple process. Some clubs have been using it for years. So there are lots of people that can help if you have issues with different things, but we're here to support you in getting onboarded and figuring out how to utilize it. We don't want the platform to be something that is stagnant and not updated frequently. We want you to have people for that. So we highly recommend, that if you can get one, get a volunteer that's solely their purpose is working on your website and maybe social media. If you have somebody that can do that, somebody who likes to write things and do pictures and is somewhat tech savvy, you don't need to know any kind of HTML or coding or programming or anything like that. It's all, wizard driven and drag and drop boxes and stuff. So we want to ensure that this Grizzly Pride is kind of our go-to home for all things boosters and athletics. The school doesn't really provide us, and the district doesn't really provide us a great way to have stuff linked out for sports. That's one of the reasons we have this, and then it covers all of us. So it's really our hub as a school to ensure that the community knows what we're doing, that people can get involved, that we have a place that we can sell advertising on, that we control, and do so. So please spend time on that. Make sure you on board with us, and I can't stress the importance of that enough. We're going to move to the next website that we manage, and we are looking at maybe merging these into one at some point, but as it boosters, obviously we have some back-end processes we need to work together on, and this is really what the GBHboosters.org website's for. If you haven't seen it before, this is what the site looks like. It's very simple. It works for mobile or your computer. It has our mission statement and tax ID on there. So if you're wondering, hey, what's our tax ID? Or if you have a sponsor that is asking like, well, what's your mission? Why should I donate to you? We have all that information available for them right on the site. So it's appropriate for you to use this website anytime you're talking with people about, donations or sponsorship. Absolutely feel free to use this website and get that out to them. We do host a calendar of booster events. So this is where we list our booster meetings in. We are looking at continuing doing these on the third Thursday of each month. So that will kind of be the process. We will try to communicate those meetings out a week or so in advance so that everybody has that, but we can only do that if everybody has given us their information through the Sports Engine platform. We do have a stipend calculator. So if you guys are doing stipends, you have the ability to go right on there, click on the stipend calculator, and all you do is basically say how much you want to pay your coach and if they're a teacher or not. And it automatically calculates what you need to get your check requests for, so that you don't have to worry about the math. We update it with the appropriate, information for percentages, and that's in there. That's kind of the basis and start of what ultimately the stipend request process will be. We'll hopefully roll that calculator into the process so that we can seamlessly do those as we go along. In addition, check requests, board nomination forms, your deposit forms, hopefully this year we'll roll out some club information update forms and things like that. But this is really where you need to go if you're talking about interacting with us at a boosters level and talking about the business side of the boosters. Okay. So we rolled this out to everybody last year, but it was right before COVID hit. and so we didn't get a lot of need to use it. So I know a lot of us maybe have used Sign Up Genius or something of that nature in the past. We invested in a platform called signup.com. And it's something that all of you have access to, and we highly recommend using it, even if you have used some other platform in the past. It's something where you get to have their premium version of the platform, which means you get all of the paid features without having to pay for it. So things that you would only get to use with Sign Up Genius if you paid them, or things of that nature, you get to use here. One of the key features that we really liked, and one of the reasons that we went with this platform over others, is that they have a volunteer check-in capability. So you could have a phone or an iPad at your events that you're needing to check people in. They can come up and you can see what positions they're scheduled for, sign them in for that position. You could track hours if you're doing if you have community volunteers that need to do community service hours, you could track those kind of things in there. There's lots of reporting capabilities. Abilities to send out reminders and emails, all kind of things that you can imagine doing, you can do in here. We started using it for Track as our pilot, and we were able to use it for snack bar signups and for the volunteer management for one of the big events where we have 100+ volunteers, and it worked wonderfully for that. Unfortunately, we didn't get to actually host the event, but the sign up and volunteer portion of it went really well. So please take advantage of these things that we get you guys and that we pay for, so that you guys can do that. If you also know a teacher that maybe needs to have some kind of feature like this for their classroom, and they'd love to use it to sign up volunteers or things like that in a particular program, think choir, or some of these things that maybe need a lot of parent participation, this is a great way to do that as well. And we certainly have it open to teachers, even if they're not a part of a club like choir. We certainly can help them get into this program as well. We have 150 seats for it, and we can move those around from year to year. So please take part in this. You'll have this information afterwards, obviously in the video. So if you didn't get to kind of write down the information on how to sign up, we'll make sure that that's available to you in this presentation. So what else have we done? Well, I want to talk a little bit about that. Unfortunately, a lot of things that we did it towards the end of the year, we haven't been able to talk about. We haven't been able to utilize. We haven't been able to show off, and we did quite a bit. So we're excited for the time that people get to start using this stuff. We invested in new pathway signs. So these are things that can be used by any sport, any team, any club. We've got a variation of these signs, so it's not just these here, but the signs might have different things on the back. If it's a snack bar this way, then it has the opposite of that on the back, so that you can use these in all kinds of ways. For football and other sports, we know that there's been issues of where is the bathrooms, where is the snack bar. Now we have lots of signage for that. Aquatics especially. We know that you guys were trying to use some signs from previous, so we've improved those. We've made it so that hopefully people will know where those restrooms are and those snack bar is. Now we understand that we don't know if we get to use that this year, and I'll kind of talk on the COVID topic right now. I don't really have a slot for it because we don't know what to tell you. Unfortunately, the school doesn't know what to tell you. We are hopeful that we get to have some kind of programs this year, and that sports can, actually have games. But even that is not guaranteed at this point. We hope that we'll have spectators, but we don't know if that's going to happen. So there's so much in the air with that. That's why I don't have a topic for it. We don't have enough information to be able to tell you exactly what's going to happen and when. I can tell you that if we are allowed to have sports, my understanding, at least at this point, none of them will happen before January. So we've got a little ways to go, which is why we want to try to work to get everybody onboarded into our platforms and try to get stuff updated before we actually hit into what might be a sports season. So, bear with us. We're here to help you. We want you to spend wisely, be conscientious of the fact that we may not be able to have a season. And if we don't have a season, what does that mean for your finances? The school is, has a fraction of the budget that they normally would have for things. So there isn't a lot of money or any money perhaps to be floated around from, let's say athletics to a sport if you didn't have enough funds. So we're here to help. We want to do our best to make these kids have an enjoyable year if we can. But unfortunately, at this point, it's kind of out of our hands and out of the school's hands. So hopefully we'll have a little info as we go along. We also did a fully upgraded snack bar. So, again, we didn't really get to use this, but we're super excited for you to be able to see it. I don't have any pictures at the moment, but we're going to get some for our next meeting. We redid almost everything. We put in additional fatigue mats. We did brand new coffee makers. We put in water filters and a new water faucet. We put in a prep table. We bought, a warming cabinet to keep your hot food in there warm. We've got Instapots and napkin dispensers. Everything you can imagine to have, we put in. A majority of this was sponsored by track and football. So we're very grateful for those two programs who decided to make investments for all of us. And we certainly appreciate that. So we look forward to being able to use the snack bar again, but who knows if that's going to be happening this year. If it does, we're well prepared to have an amazing experience for people. If not, we will just continue to ride that and work on our 21-22 school year for that. And then we've got a new relationship with San Francisco Bay Coffee. So we're constantly working on you guys' behalf to try to work with sponsors and things at a corporate level that can then funnel down to everybody. So we did that with the San Francisco Bay Coffee. They are sponsoring us as a school, so all clubs can participate in getting free coffee from them. Our snack bar is fully loaded with coffee at this point. So if you have a program and you need coffee, it's there, and we can work with you on getting access to that. But if we do run out, we'll consistently be able to get more. So we're excited for that relationship, and thank you, San Francisco Bay Coffee. And we'll make sure that we get them up on our website as soon as possible for that. So we have been working. I know we haven't met in many months, because of COVID and kind of the unknowns with all of that. But we have been here, and we're trying to help you guys as best we can with that. So we appreciate any feedback you give. If there are things that you'd like to see and haven't, or things that you need to improve on the areas, let us know, and we'll work together. So we're kind of into some of the housekeeping. For those of you who are maybe new to Boosters or just needing a refresher, Boosters provides insurance for all of us. So as club presidents, treasurers, members, you shouldn't need any additional insurance for your program. If you think you do, let us know. There are very, very rare occasions that there might be a need for something. Mainly if we're going to be doing camps or things like that, can get into a tricky area where we may need to have something supplemental. but our insurance that we rolled into last year is quite extensive. So we, in the past, people have had to get fundraiser, additional insurance and things and pay a premium for that. We don't have any of those needs anymore. We are fully covered for that. And we added on the ability to cover for fraud, theft, and fire damage as well. So we really are trying our best to protect everybody and what we have here. So please, if you're paying for insurance in your club, get rid of it, or at least talk to us and figure out if that's something you still need as an expense item, but the answer should be no. Donations versus fees. We're going to talk about this in every meeting that we have, okay? Just so that nobody can be saying they're not aware, or what does that mean? So we cannot charge fees for sports and clubs, okay? And we will ensure that when we're doing registration forms and things like that, that everything's worded properly. We can absolutely ask for volunteer contributions and donations, which is why we are involved with athletics to partner on that, to ensure we're always using the right language for any of that. We cannot have donations used for a particular student. If a parent says, hey, I want to donate, extra money, but, it needs to go to Johnny, unfortunately, we can't do that, okay? Donations cannot be specified to what they're used for. We cannot force purchase of equipment and spirit packs. So if you are a program that has these things that are quote unquote required for your program, you need to be prepared on how we're going to cover those costs if somebody does not want to donate to you. Now, we are blessed enough at our school that a majority of people do donate, and donate even in excess to help cover those people that maybe don't want to or can't afford to do so. But we cannot ever force somebody to buy something with their money as part of one of our programs. We cannot force fees with a waiver process. So we can't, say, hey, you have to pay unless you ask for, and give us a good reason for not paying. Okay. That's just not how it works. And we don't want people feeling uncomfortable with not paying. So, so we can't do that. We can require students to fundraise as long as it's a team or club effort. Okay. So it can't be, oh, Johnny, you're not paying for sport. Okay, well, Johnny, you have to go raise $500 by selling cookies, but we can force them. If we're selling cookies as a team, we can force it. That is part of their participation, is, doing their best to sell that. We cannot, one thing not on this list, but I have dealt with it in the past year, we cannot force people to sell a certain amount of tickets or, raffle tickets or anything of that nature, okay? You can ask them to sell that many, and if they would like to pre-buy them and then sell them, they certainly can do that, but it is not something that we can force a student or parent to buy $100 worth of tickets and then it's on them to go and sell them for that. So these are things that we'll cover every meeting just to make sure everybody's clear. By moving to our electronic systems and taking over kind of the onus of the registration processes, we really eliminate a lot of that, which is one of another big reasons we want to move into the Grizzly Pride platform, so that we can help ensure that these kind of mistakes don't happen for any clubs moving forward. If you have any questions on that, please see us. This is something we're very is very important to us. It's something that is very important to the school, and the athletics department as a whole, and it's the law. So we really need your help ensuring that we don't break the law in what we do here. We are coming up to the end here of our meeting, so I'm grateful that that we're able to kind of get through. I do hope that people have some questions and we can answer those, in that. But and we'll stick around for a little bit to answer questions if you want to keep chatting, and we can certainly have some one-on-one times. So monthly one-on-ones. I've mentioned this since the day we took over as boosters. We would love to meet with you, whether it be at your boosters meetings or whether or not it's a one-on-one to discuss your ideas or work with your clubs. We are here to support all of you. We don't work for just one team. We're not here for teams that bring in a lot of money. We're here for every single one of you to help you out. And really the only way we can do that is to get to know your clubs and what your needs are and how you guys are operating, because we have a lot of experience working with clubs and with business. So we have ideas on how we can help, perhaps look at things differently, or ways that we can look at better, fundraising and financing, or just getting out of our box and looking at things that maybe you hadn't thought of doing yet, and dreaming big. You'll find that I'm a big dreamer. So, we want to raise enough funds to replace all of the scoreboards on campus. We've started working slowly. We got aquatics done. We got a new scoreboard on soccer. We'd love to be having a nice big LED panels in the gym and in the football field, right? And that only comes by us dreaming big and then going out and finding other companies that can dream big with us and sponsor it. So please set up time to meet with us, meet with myself, meet with somebody on the team, and have us to your board meetings. We would love to be there. If you tell us when they are, we will certainly try to come to them as often as we can. So that brings us really to the end in our Q&A. We need to know what you need. What is it that you need the most right now? Is your team struggling? Did you not finish last year in a good position? Are you trying to figure out what to do for this year? Do you, looking at ways that you can improve your process? Or are there things, big purchases you're looking to do, and you're looking at how maybe you could finance them, over some time? We're here to help with all of that. We want to ensure that, we're fiscally prudent on everything we do, but we also want to invest in the future of our kids and the future of our school. So we're going to take a few moments here. We'll keep an eye on the questions and answers and kind of see what comes in, and we'll answer those live if I can. I'm going to take a look at the questions that have been coming in to see if there's any that I should mention for you. So definitely, please consider our open positions with the boosters. We really, need help there. Especially with communication and technology. So, working on our social media and communication and the website. If you're super tech savvy, I could love to have help with things like the electronic forms and stuff that we're building as well. Somebody asked about, do we want to direct parents and players and teams and stuff to the Grizzly Pride website? Yes, the grizzlypride.com is for everybody. It's for community. It's for your sponsors. It's for your parents. It's for the athletes. They'll actually use all of that. The athletes will mainly use the mobile application. There's an application they'll get to sign on their mobile phone for Android or iPhone, and then they can communicate with their coaches. They can say that they're going to miss an event, or they can say they're going to be at an event. They can see their team schedule and all of that kind of stuff in that application. So yes, please put people to grizzlypride.com and make this a platform that everybody's aware of. So the Grizzly Pride, website, everybody has their own section of the site. So it doesn't link out to another site, but if you go there and look at like how it's organized right now, you can see like track and football are good sites to take a look at, and that'll show you kind of the flow of what you can build. But yes, each club and team has their own section inside of Grizzly Pride that they get to manage. You'll have your own login. You can edit your pages and specifically for your club and team. Yeah, it was asked if any of the fees are public information. None of it's public information. So, everything's a donation unless they're buying, gear of some kind or something of that nature. Just like any other tax donations that a parent would make. But none of that. We don't have a site that we post anything like that. And there's certainly nothing showing if they did or didn't pay inside of that. We can see it as administration, the clubs, treasurers and presidents, people in charge of the organization can obviously see who's paid, who hasn't paid, and we have to be able to maintain and understand that, but it's not something that's public to people. If you are still collecting, so I see that they're collecting payments, credit cards. We didn't really talk about credit cards, so I'll do that. We moved to Square last year. I think a majority of you have onboarded to that. If you are still taking payments through another third party, whether it be PayPal, Stripe, some other kind of website, you need to stop. If you have a need for a particular form or a way for people to donate, we can absolutely work with you on that. If you've asked for that in the past and maybe we hadn't gotten to you yet, just ask again and we'll make sure to get that done. But those third-party accounts are no longer something that you guys get to have. So we took all finances back, and made sure that nobody has independent financial things out there. And this is really to help for our auditing and financial capabilities of making sure we're tracking all the information, as well as a smoother process for deposits and where did this money come from and what's it for. So there's a lot of reasons we did that. Ultimately, we got better rates and stuff than you can get through a PayPal or something else. So please chat with us. If you need something, let us know and we can get that to you if you don't already have it. Most people have little devices you can use, and you can put in your own items, like it's a donation, or people are buying a shirt or whatever it is maybe that you're selling. You can preview that. And this is available to all clubs. So please, if you're not taking credit cards and you'd like to, Choir, a great example. If you start having performances, if that becomes allowed, for example, then you're going to want to have ability to take credit cards at the gate, so that you can maybe get a broader audience and not have to let people in free if they really don't have any cash that they bring with them. There's some questions about are any club sports using FlipGive as a fundraiser. We actually have a special deal through Sports Engine for FlipGive. If you are interested in using it, I don't know of any yet that have done it. If you have, please speak up to us and we'll try to pass that along. But we do have a promo through Sports Engine for FlipGive. I believe if you sign up for it and use it, they'll donate like an extra $250 or something towards it. I'm sure there are caveats that you have to process X amount of stuff through it. I haven't looked into it much, so I don't know a whole lot about the platform, but it is certainly something I would be happy to look into further and see if it's something you're interested in. How can we get involved with that promo and perhaps get you a little extra money on that? So great question on that. And we'll look into it a little more. And again, if anybody has used something like that Flip Give, and you have experience and would like to share it, please let us know either in the Q&A or email us or call us so that we can participate in that. So a question was brought up about what are your thoughts on collecting registration fees now versus when we open our registration, given the uncertainty of having a season? That's a great question. I think there's a few things involved with that, and a lot of it will depend on your players. Some sports are just doing a pre-registration, pre-season registration where people are just saying, I'm interested in the sport, so that they have a way to communicate through the platform. You can track how many people are interested in playing, and it sets you up to the point that we can more easily get those people onboarded if you do indeed have a season. Some sports have already taken registrations. Because at the time we weren't sure what was going on, and they start in the summer, and so they've already taken registrations and done so. You certainly run the risk that parents will expect or want to have refunds if you do so. If you're in a position where financially, having refunds and stuff given isn't a big deal, then it may be appropriate to go ahead and get your registrations going and let people sign up, and then we can look at refunds. Some sports, for example, with track, we didn't get to have a season. We had a handful of parents that expected their money back, and the majority of them did not. It was still a donation for them. They get to write it off on their taxes. It's something that at least offset our losses, to some extent. So it really depends on the kind of players and parents you have, and whether or not they're the kind of people that are regularly donating to, whether or not you do anything or not. My recommendation would probably be to hold off. Do a pre-registration. Let's get them interested. Let's get them into the system. But we don't do a paid registration until we confirm that you are going to have an actual season and what that's going to look like. If there's going to be no spectators and things of that nature, we have to kind of figure out what is the parent willing to pay, and what do you hope to get out of that? And it might need to be a lower fee, or you may ask them to pay more, donate more to you, because you're not going to be able to fundraise as much as you think you will. We're really here to help, and I think this is a case-by-case thing, so please contact us to talk about your onboarding. Chat with us in that so that we can determine for your sport and your audience of people what makes the most sense for you. So a question about the live streaming. Will it include play-by-play and potential to self-mention and sponsors? Yes and yes and yes. There's a lot of capabilities in the system. The camera system, which is a system called Pixelot, is an artificial intelligence-based camera system. It can technically run an entire football game worth of views and camera angles and by itself, with no human interaction or anything of that nature. The system is designed so that we can produce an event, meaning doing replays and having sponsor banners and stingers and different kinds of things that you would use in a video production. We are still figuring all of that out. We're trying to figure out with athletics, which would be overseeing the camera platform and its use since it's part of their program. How as boosters can we utilize it and monetize it? There's a lot of unknowns right now, but we certainly do expect that we will be able to do some play-by-plays, and certainly expect that we'll be able to do sponsorships as part of that platform. And it'll be something that will be for us moving forward, not just in COVID times where we maybe can't have audiences in the stadium, but certainly looking at that as a platform moving forward. Especially if we're able to get video boards for football and gym. The two main places that we have the cameras right now. So if we're able to get video scoreboards, then we can utilize the video and sponsorship capabilities and stuff through that onto the scoreboard to really have a college level experience at the school. So hopefully we'll see. It's all very brand new. We're waiting for information from the school. We're waiting for information from the organization that manages the platform. Hopefully we'll have a better update for you next month on what that's really going to look like and what we'll do. But at this point, it's very much in the air. It's a very cool system. So if you look at Pixel and what it's capable of doing, you'll be highly impressed on the stuff. And we do one of the things that we've been working with athletics as Master Boosters is looking at maybe getting a couple more cameras. They only gave us cameras to the stadium and to the gym. So we're looking at could we get one for the soccer field? Could we get one for aquatics? They do make an underwater camera for aquatics. So we're looking at those kind of things as well to see, how else can we invest in this platform and utilize it for those benefits. Somebody posed, is there a question as to whether the boosters will be able to provide refunds? If you're asking from a financial standpoint, no. Boosters is very healthy financially. In fact, we are providing loans to clubs for different things. So if anybody has any concerns financially from that standpoint, we can do it. It's more about my comment with whether or not you would want to, what happens if you take registrations now or already did. It's more about not spending what you don't have. So if you are spending money buying a bunch of gear, new uniforms and all that kind of stuff, and then you end up having to refund all or some of your players and you didn't fundraise anywhere else, you could potentially be put in a financial position that would take you negative. Now, of course, boosters would make sure that people get their refunds and companies are paid and things of that nature, but we don't want any of our clubs to ever run in a negative. So far, nobody is, and we don't want to have that being a practice. Now, we understand it's COVID. We're all dealing with unique things, and it's a unique year. We're certainly understanding of that, and we're trying to be here as best we can to help that. So if you were concerned about your club finances for the year or how you're going to do things and what that's going to look like, work with us. We're happy to kind of discuss options and how we as Master Boosters can help and ways that you can fundraise still. There are certainly people out there willing to donate. They understand, COVID as well. It might not be your local small mom and pop shops like it used to be. We may have to count on different things and move a little higher in the food chain or look to places outside of the area. I know like Kellogg's cereal, for example, was doing a program to donate money to sports athletics programs and stuff that got hit with COVID type stuff. So we're here. We'll help any way we can. But no, financially, Boosters is doing great. are the cameras an opportunity for game tape for college recruitment? Um, I don't really have an answer to that. As I said, we're still really learning the system. I know that coaches, for example, do have a great ability to do game tape review from the footages that is recorded for a game. It's great for them to use that for a post-game analysis. You can even do it during the game. You can, coaches could pull up on an iPad and go replay something if they needed to, and maybe show somebody and coach them in a moment. As far as whether or not that'll be available to parents, or if we're going to have, opportunity to help you get video from that, I would say it's unlikely. But I don't really know until we get into the system to figure out what's capable of. And I think that would be something that would need to be discussed with athletics first and foremost, and then looking at the team level to see if that's something that might need management, might need some volunteer time to go through footage and export it. And I don't know if you buy into the parent subscription to view a game. I don't know if it lets you download those games or record any snippets from that. I'm not sure, but it's a great question, and we can certainly look more into it as we go along.